A Cuban-born baseball player did something amazing. He was the first player not chosen for the All-Stars game to win the home run derby, which is quite impressive. His name is Yoenis Céspedes. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. And he was being interviewed by an ESPN reporter by the name of Pedro Gomez. And during the interview, he decided, you know what, why don't I just conduct this interview in Spanish and then translate? Interestingly enough, Americans were not pleased by this because they see baseball as an American pastime and they feel that the interview should have been conducted in English. And if you're in the United States, you should speak fluent English. So there's been a lot of drama about that.
But wait a minute, the guy's Cuban. Okay, so he doesn't speak English. And it's so ridiculous because if Ichiro Suzuki, who's from Japan, spoke Japanese, nobody would be like, oh yeah, I can speak English, damn it. But if you're Latino, for some reason it gets under people's skin. Like, oh, here they are, they're coming to our country. Why don't they speak English? Well, the guy's born in Cuba, lived there for, a very long time. So, okay, he hasn't learned English yet, bring it down. But they're not gonna bring it down.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at the ridiculous things that people get so angry about, right? Because there are so many things to get angry about, whether it's like income inequality or like, the way the system is holding us down, how our civil liberties are being violated, like real issues. But really, you're gonna get upset in an ESPN interview with someone who doesn't speak perfect English, who decides to do the interview in Spanish? Just find something else to be angry about. How about that?
It's his native language. Who gives a crap, man?
A sports reporter decided to address this, and I actually think that he addressed it in the best possible way. I want to read what he wrote. He said, and people got mad, maybe because they get mad when they're scared. And people are scared of Spanish, scared that they don't understand what others are saying, envious that they can't speak two languages, frightened that maybe this world is changing and people like us, people who speak only English, will be left behind.
He's so right.
Yeah.
He nailed it. Look, I lived in Miami, and don't get me wrong, I lived it, man. So I don't speak Spanish. I was in Miami. Everybody speaks Spanish, and you feel a little lost. And I felt like, well, I'm in America. We should be speaking English because English is the language I speak and I'm comfortable in. And when you don't understand the language around you, it's a little unsettling. Right? I'm just keeping it real. Now, I'm not an idiot, so I was like, hey, everybody, you speak English, all right? Okay? Yeah, going around to telling people that. But I know why you're unsettled, but you can't do that. I mean, the world does change. They do speak Spanish. You can't strike out that way. That's crazy.
This reminds me of an article that I read today, actually, by the LA Times about Vietnamese nail shop owners. So when you go and you get your nails done, especially in Los Angeles, I'd say like 90% of the nail salons are owned by Vietnamese women.
Oh, so you're going to profile them that way, huh?
No, but they are. That's what the article said.
Literally.
Yeah. So you show up and they're working on you, and they always speak in Vietnamese, and you're wondering whether or not they're talking about you. And the reporter actually is Vietnamese, and he sat there and listened to their conversations, and he's like, yeah, they're talking about you.
Oh, damn. That's awesome.
It was great.
But that's the number one thing that happens when other people speak a different language, especially if they start laughing or giggling. You're like,
God.
oh, God damn it, are they talking about me? So I know you're unsettled, but it's going to be all right, dog. So now, at the game, Mark Anthony is singing the national anthem.
Yes, actually.
People are going to get mad at that too.
Yes. At the All-Star game, Mark Anthony was singing God Bless America. And let me just note that Mark Anthony is not only an American citizen, he was born in New York. But that didn't stop people from being enraged at the fact that he was singing God Bless America, because turns out that, he has a little bit of that Latin flair, and they don't like that. They feel that, red-blooded white Americans should be the ones singing that, which is insane. So there were a bunch of stupid tweets about that. Mark Anthony singing God Bless America on MLB All-Star Game. Am I the only person that finds that un-American?
Well, you should be the only person who finds it un-American, but apparently you're not. The guy was born in New York City. What do you want? And one of the excuses was he rolls his R's. Now you're...
God bless America.
now you gotta sing it exactly as that redneck would sing it. Okay.
And it's funny because Mark Anthony had to actually come out and say, you can't get more New York than me. So he was like defending himself, but I feel like he should have even responded to the nonsense. That's so embarrassing. When you have people hating on others based on their ethnicity or based on, in Mark Anthony's case, their Latin flair, it's just.
They hate him because he's Hispanic. Come on.
Totally. Let's keep it real.
Yeah. And okay, by the way, one last thing on this. You know what else these guys hate that are sending these ridiculous tweets, etc.? They hate that baseball got taken over by Latinos. That's their perception of it. And they think like, this is the one sport we used to do.
Yep.
You know, and these guys come in from, you know, wherever they come in from, the Dominican Republic and Mexico and all these places. They take over our game. Mm-hmm. Jesus, avid baseball fan, correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Correct. All right.